This week on Arizona Illustrated, Tucson Meet Yourself.
An event like this, it just allows people from other cultures to cook their food and share it with other people. I think this is one of the most exciting food events of the year.
Drawn to science.
It's very technical, it's very accurate, it's very precise, and it's just all about the beauty of a certain animal and its morphological traits.
A moment in time.
This one time, sun was still going down. Clouds were looking white, yellow, maroon. It was just so nice.
And forming the formless.
The work that I do is rooted in a desire to better understand myself spiritually and to understand what we're here to do.
Welcome to Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. Tucson Meet Yourself, the multicultural celebration of food, music, and art, dates back to 1974. The annual festival held in downtown Tucson will take place Friday, October 12th through Sunday the 14th. It's a great chance to sample a wide variety of delicious food and come together as a community. We were there last year, and here's what you can expect.
I eat it all.
Food!
Turkish food over here! Only here once a year!
I love the Laotian booth. We always stop by the Greek booth and the Thai booth. I'm excited that there's a Peruvian booth.
We take it as a compliment that people call this Tucson Eat Yourself. The food is the bait.
There's food, there's people, there's music.
I'm Andy Berlin. I'm with the Arizona Daily Star. I'm the food writer. I think this is one of the most exciting food events of the year. It costs a lot of money to open a restaurant, even if it's small, or even a food truck, and a lot of times you have to play it safe. An event like this, a just one-time thing, allows people from other cultures to cook their food and get it out there and share it with other people.
Busy.
Just for fun.
We've been doing this for about 30 years.
I'm making popovers fried bread. Well, fried bread is almost like a tortilla, but we use secret ingredients in here, so we love doing it. People, community, all our love goes into the dough.
One of my favorites for the last few years has been the Japanese takoyaki balls. They take this liquidy octopus kind of dough, and they have these cute little waffle machines, and they swirl around in the waffle machine until they're fried to a crisp.
We're serving all kinds of Polish food. We've got traditional kielbasa, pierogi, we've got potato pancakes and gołąbki, and we also have... Is that better? Woo! I am here with the Lyconic Polish Dance Group. Not only is it a great community event, but it's also us building a community, and it's also our biggest fundraiser of the year. I think it has largely to do with Tucson and the eclectic background that Tucson has cultivated here. It's just fantastic.
It's wonderful to meet you. I'm so excited.
I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, it's just
My role was with the festival that I helped start it. My wife and I pretty much began it. My role today is sort of honorary grandpa.
High five.
High five.
High five.
I think the most important thing we can do in this particular time, or at any time, is to turn people you don't know into people you've talked with. Not just talk about what they do, but about who they are. After 44 years, it's still working.
Come prepared to eat, dance, and meet your neighbors. To find out more about this Folklife Festival, go to TucsonMeetYourself.org. So, as you can see, not only is the Sonoran Desert rich in culture, it's also rich in the diversity of nature. And for wildlife biologist Natalie All, it's a world of inspiration and discovery, one that she decided to illustrate.
What really inspires me about nature is just the biodiversity around us. So just all the critters, the flora, the fauna, everything that moves, it really talks to you. Moving from the Northeast down to the Sonoran Desert was such a great change for me because the Sonoran Desert is one of the most lush and biodiverse deserts in the country, and you really can't find quite a desert like this anywhere else. I'm Natalie All, and I'm a scientific illustrator and a wildlife biologist. Originally, I thought, I couldn't really combine my love for biology and my art together, so that's why I took more of a biological route with animal behavior. And I like to think of it as a moment of clarity, where it just kind of hit me over the head with a frying pan, and I said, well, why don't I do technical illustration and do scientific illustration? Because that's exactly the style of art that I enjoy. It's very technical, it's very accurate, it's very precise, it doesn't have a lot of background noise, and it's just all about the beauty of a certain animal and its morphological traits. Oh yeah, they're really active right now. It's pretty hot out. This is a desert iguana. We actually have real iguanas in the desert, believe it or not, and this is one of them. They don't quite look like the other iguanas you might be used to seeing. They're very light colored, they're active during the day. Each individual lizard you're going to find is going to have its own unique speckling, freckling, and certain color variations. And these desert iguanas are striking.
We try to illuminate some of these unsung heroes in the natural world, and actually our tagline for our organization is focusing on life overlooked. Natalie is our artist in residence, which means that she uses her artwork to contribute to conservation efforts, and she can use her unique perspective on the world around us, this hidden world, and help the public understand and appreciate a lot of things that they wouldn't ordinarily even see.
I first got together with the biodiversity group actually through my husband, who's been working with them for even longer than me, since he's also a field biologist. And I was really drawn to them because of the conservation research that they did and all the traveling that they were offering for these research expeditions, and really getting out there and getting my feet wet with literal mud and being able to find these beautiful, undescribed species in these really imperiled places that have really been completely understudied. The spider eating the frog is one of my pieces that people either love or hate, understandably. I was really inspired by it. I actually took that photograph when I was on a field research expedition in Vietnam, and we were hiking along a stream, and I just saw this spider dangling this poor little frog right above the flowing stream, and I just had to get a shot of it and just had to make an illustration of it. It was visceral, yet very accurate to the behavior. I actually grew up in Germany and moved to the US when I was 10 years old, but constantly through my childhood I've always been outside playing with animals.
I've even had pet worms, and whatever I could really, keep and study and learn about its behavior was really always very intriguing to me. So just kind of getting outside, a lot of the times I would just kind of play by myself and go meander around and watch different animals and see what their behaviors were and then kind of what they were doing. It was really fascinating to me. I feel extremely lucky that I've been given this chance to be able to combine my passion for art and biology and to do my natural science illustration, as well as my biological field work, and to have it work towards the greater good. I mean, that for me is the most important thing, to be able to say that, what have I done with my life? Have I enjoyed it? Has it been something that I've been passionate about? And what can I give back to the community and just nature in general?
To see more of Natalie's illustrations, visit allformsoflife.com. That's all with 2 A's.
Like what you see on Arizona Illustrated? Visit our webpage at azpm.org to watch and share stories from this and previous episodes. And like us on Facebook, where you can watch stories, comment, and share your own story ideas. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram, where we share photos and links about the show and what's happening in our community.
It can be seen for miles around. Sentinel Peak, commonly known as A Mountain, a point of regional pride. But more than a landmark and a beautiful view, it has become a place for many to remember.
We were driving and she's like, look at mommy, the A, there's a big giant A.
It is this big. This big.
Pretty big.
This big.
What do you want to do? You want to go up there?
All the way. To the top.
Up to the top.
Higher than Tucson.
My dad used to bring our whole cross-country team up here. He'd drop us off at the bottom and then we'd have to run up. And then this was kind of like our gift at the end. We got to go up there and climb to the top. It draws you to it, you know? You can't help but want to climb it when you're here.
I was always here as a kid with the family. We used to always come up here and just eat food actually and just hang out.
ASU students came and painted it and stuff, and there was this whole big fuss over the A right there, so I had to come and see for it myself, but now I just like the view of the city. This is someplace I would come not to reflect on a day, but to more forget about the day.
I got good memories and then I got bad memories too. I brought my son up here right after school so we can have some fun. We were grooving to some music. We had 50 Cent, we had Tyga, we had just some feeling music to enjoy the night that we're in. My son right now, I'm with him right now. I'm building a great memory.
I like the sunset and all the buildings and the lights. It's just really nice to look at.
I stayed at that motel on the second floor and stood on the balcony to watch the fireworks from over here. And it's hard for me to recognize because a lot of things have happened in 25 years. I remember empty fields. Now there are buildings down there.
I've lived here for many, many years. I usually bring friends who are visiting from out of town because it's the one place where they can see the whole scope of Tucson.
Traveling south to Kentucky, Tennessee, things like that. You know, you get in the foothills before you get in the mountains, and here everything is flat, and then pow, there's a mountain right in your face.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, Michigan's all flat. We don't have mountains, so it's definitely a breathtaking view.
The views get more and more spectacular as you get higher and higher. It's like a hot air balloon ride without the hot air balloon.
I usually go to the hut that's over there. I just like to sit and escape school.
This one time, we had come up here around 8 o'clock. Sun was still going down. It was just so nice. Clouds were looking white, yellow, maroon, and you could definitely take a picture that day, post it somewhere online. If they weren't from Tucson, they were definitely talking about the sunset. Oh, it's full of Tucson pride. You see A Mound, you know that's Tucson.
Well, my grandson's visiting from the East Coast.
Yep, and I just was thinking of a nice place that we could go before I brought Nana out to dinner. And Nana has lived here for, what, 15 years now? About 15 years, and she had never been up here, so I thought,
no,
why not?
So here we are. Gorgeous, gorgeous sunset.
As you travel farther south down I-19, you'll find Tubac, Arizona, home to filmmaker Genevieve Anderson, a former city dweller who found solitude and gratitude in the desert countryside.
I wanted to leave LA. I was ready to leave LA. Living in a city, there's all this kind of ambient stuff going on all the time. Whether or not you're doing anything, you feel like you're a part of it. You feel like, oh, I'm busy. So I moved to Tubac, Arizona, to be close to my family. I moved with my son, who's 8 years old, and we live on an 8-acre farmhouse. Part of me that felt stripped bare in the city, based on what I was going through personally, but also just living in a city for so long. All of that was addressed coming here. It's a really nourishing thing to be in this environment. That said, it's lonely. It's been very lonely. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean the way in which you really confront yourself. My name is Genevieve Anderson. I'm an artist, director, and a filmmaker. I come to it first as a filmmaker and secondarily as a person interested in puppets. I'm actually not even a puppeteer. I have some very, very primal feeling about diminutive things, small things, and it touched that feeling I had when I was a child of magic coming out of small spaces. In American culture, historically, we really don't have a tradition of puppetry here. Our tradition is Topo Gigio, it's the Thunderbirds, it's the Muppets. You know, I was a huge fan of the Muppets, but puppets that I'm working with and what I'm endeavoring to do with the puppets has very little reference in the United States. It comes more from, I guess, a European tradition. It serves a very almost ritualistic, even spiritual function. The puppet can do something that a human actor can't. It isn't sullied by having a human experience. It's completely neutral. So in that sense, it's a very powerful tool.
For 35 years, I've been a book crusher. And this is my love story. For 35 years, books have taught me that the heavens are not humane. Neither the heavens nor any man with a head on his shoulders. It's not that men don't wish to be humane. It just goes against common sense. And anyone who crushes books for a living is no more humane than the heavens. But somebody's got to do it.
The reason to do Too Loud of Solitude with puppets and animation is because we spend very little time in the material realm. Which is a book crusher in a basement crushing books. Book crusher on the street going to the bar. Book crusher in the bar.
I've drunk so much beer over the past 35 years. They could fill an Olympic-sized pool. An entire fish hatchery.
The rest of the time, it's his imagination.
I don't really read. I pop a sentence into my mouth, and I suck it like a fruit drop.
Many people say that Too Loud of Solitude is autobiographical. So I'm starting creating the character from that.
For 35 years, I've been alone in this basement. Alone except for the excellent company I find here.
Paul Giamatti, he knew the book well, and that's sort of the platform that I used to ask him, like, we're doing this adaptation of the book in puppets. Would you be interested? And he said yes. I did think about him when building the puppet because the voice is so integral.
Such wisdom as I have comes to me unwittingly. And I look on my brain as a mass of hydraulically compacted ideas.
So I should say, too, that there are two camps of people. When they see this, they go, Paul, he's an American. You know, you've got this extremely Czech character, and then you've got a well-known American actor with an American accent reading the language of this Czech author. And then you've got people who are like, oh, he's great, God, his voice, it's so wonderful, it's perfect. The amazing thing about him has been that he has stayed on board. There's been all these starts and stops, and he's been like, right there with you. How's it going? You know, he's such a champion of the project. You do all of this work, you set all of these things up in the hopes that there'll be a gesture, like a way that something moves, or a look, or something that opens up this space where something magic comes through. You know, there are moments in Too Loud of Solitude, like one or two, where I'm like, oh, there it is. I make things as an effort to find something or to give form to something that is formless. So when you commit a formless idea to a form, it's disappointing. I'll do the molding of the figure because I feel like that's really important to have something that's my aesthetic. But then I will hand these things off to people who are good at making the molds, or people who can make the puppets and who can do the flocking and the painting and the wardrobe. So I hire people to help in that capacity for sure. The next level for me, artistically, is to create the full feature film of Too Loud of Solitude. We created 17 minutes that we finished in 2007. And then life intervened, and years went by, and now we're picking it up again. The work that I do is rooted in a desire to understand myself better spiritually, and to understand what we're here to do. And I think that you can only really get centered in an approach to those questions when you're lonely. It's really hard to address those things when there's a lot of noise and chaos in your life. So being quiet, being reverent, being grateful, all of those things have provided a great grounding pad for me to go back into the work.
One quiet and beautiful place beneath the desert remained undiscovered for millions of years. The Secret Cave, an underground phenomenon, is now one of Arizona's most popular tourist sites. Here's a look back at 1988 from the vault.
It is estimated that the cave is 2 to 3 million years old. The man who discovered the cavern, Randy Tufts, says it is pristine, like the surface of the moon. Tufts says the first footprints in the cave, made by him 14 years ago, are still there.
We didn't believe it. We didn't believe it at all. I mean, we'd been hunting for so many years and had never found anything up to that time. It was something that took a while to sink in.
Well, unless you can implement something like state parks, the way to protect it is through secrecy. And it was pretty easy to just not talk about it.
But now the secret is out. The existence of the cave has been announced. The caverns are located in the Whetstone Mountains, just a few miles outside of the community of Benson. The caverns are destined to become a major tourist attraction, and there is no question that they will dramatically impact the community of Benson. The question is how Benson will deal with its economic good fortune while at the same time guarding the integrity of the caves.
It's obviously going to change from one of moderate tourism to one that is focused on tourism.
Dick Verdon is assigned to guard the cave.
Just trying to protect it. It's too valuable a resource to have it vandalized.
But being the guard does not necessarily mean a trip inside the cave, not yet anyway.
My turn's coming.
There is, of course, a lot of work that must be done before the caverns can be accessible to the public.
We're going to be studying the climate of the cave, the environment of the cave, because we have to preserve that. That's what indeed keeps the cave living as we know it.
Kartchner Caverns is named for the family on whose land the cave is located. Soon the cave will belong to the state, and in a special way to those whose lives will be most impacted by it.
Thank you for joining us here on Arizona Illustrated. Here's a sneak peek at a story we're working on.
Most of my work has to do with three things that are all connected. One is the search for the American dream. The second one is this idea of being the outsider, coming into another society, into another culture, and trying to negotiate your way there. And cultural identity, where do you really belong and how do you find out who you really are?
I'm Tom McNamara. See you then.